Hello, this is Dattaji, and I am preaching the spiritual knowledge of Sri Dattaswami. Saving from the troubles and misery is the general sense of the word saving. In spiritual sense, saving means cutting all the worldly bonds and establishing real bond with God, who alone is the truth. God is truth. This means that God is infinite power. The creation is just his imagination and is almost not true. The imagining person is said to truly exist. The world, which is just his imagination, and which is completely not nothing, is made of an iota of energy of God. God is like the ocean of infinite energy. Compared to God, the world is almost nothing. Thus the entire creation is under the full control of God. Just like the person doing some imagination creates an imaginary world in him, God created this imaginary world in him. The imagining person can fully control the world. He can transform any item into another item. He can raise a dead body in his imaginary world. All the miracles of human incarnations can be explained only by this concept. God, who is present in the human incarnation, does all these miracles only to establish this concept. If the world is equally true, then the world is equally powerful to God. In such case, God cannot do whatever he likes. Since the world is least powerful and God is most powerful, God controls the entire world like a very strong person controlling a very weak person. Thus the word truth indicates the omnipotent nature of God. When we say that this world is not true, it indicates the negligible power of the world. Suppose a small ant is on your shirt. Will you say that yourself and the ant are present in the house? The ant is negligible and is treated as nothing. Therefore a person who knows this concept surrenders to God and accepts him as the Savior. In his eyes the entire world looks like an ant before God. You are a tiny particle in this ant world. You can understand your position by putting a relative scale. Assume that this ant world is infinite ocean of energy. You are an iota of that ocean. This means that your power is negligible before the power of the entire nature. The world is like the ocean, and you are like a drop in it. God is like the ocean, and the world is a drop in God. You must understand the simile not in terms of volume, but in terms of the intensity of the power. When we utter the word God, we immediately imagine him as a very large figure with unlimited boundaries. The space is largest but has no power, as it is treated as nothing. The atom bomb is very small but has enormous power. Therefore, our idea about God should not be in terms of the three-dimensional space. When a person imagines a large city, the city is very huge but the person is very small. But that small person has created, maintains, and finally dissolves this huge city. He can do anything in this huge city. In fact, he is standing outside the huge city. When he wants to enter into the imaginary city, he will imagine a small form and identify himself with that form. That small form represents the outside person. The imagined form, which is identified by the outside person, is treated as the outside person directly. The imagined small form is the human incarnation. The outside person is God, and the imaginary huge city is the world. Thus God identifies himself with the human incarnation. From this angle, the human incarnation and God are one and the same. There is another angle in which the human incarnation is not the original God, but a part and parcel of God. In this angle, God and the human incarnation are treated as Father and Son. You can experience the Father only through the Son. In the third angle, the human incarnation is just sent by God into this world as a messenger with some power. Jesus talked about this truth in all the three angles. Jesus can save any human being who has any one of these three angles. Acceptance of Jesus as your Savior is the essential step in the spiritual effort. Here Jesus means the human incarnation in general. Only God is the Savior. But you cannot approach God directly. Only through the human incarnation you can approach God. This means you should accept the human incarnation as that very God. In such case, only the human incarnation becomes your Savior. God is like free electrons flowing in the atmosphere. These electrons are the electricity. Then can you heat water by keeping the vessel containing the water in the atmosphere? When these electrons enter a medium like the metallic wire, you can heat the water. If the medium is human form, it is most convenient for you to clear your doubts, to love and to serve him. Therefore, acceptance of Jesus as your Savior means that you should accept the human incarnation as your Savior. It is told that Jesus will come again. This means that the human incarnation is coming in every human generation. Otherwise, if one generation was only blessed by such fortune, the other generations will charge God as partial, and such charge is justified. Therefore, if you think that Jesus means only that particular human incarnation, which came about 2,000 years back, you have lost the whole concept. Through a particular example, generalization must be made. If you say that sodium atom is indivisible, it means that the atom of every element is indivisible. If you say that Daniel is born, it means that every human being will be born. If this basic analysis is lost, the entire spiritual castle falls down due to the absence of its foundation.
किङ्करोऽस्मि तव शङ्कर नूनं भक्तव शङ्कर पाहि पाहि शिव हिमांशुरेखा मुक्तावळीव जाटजूटमकुटोपरि भाति उष्णीषवस्त्राशेषवदेशा धवला तरला गङ्गाधारा मणिदीधितिमत्कालसर्पकुल मिन्द्रनीलमणिहार च यः किम् ललाटनयनं वह्निविररुणं विभूतिरेखा कुङ्कुमबिम्बम् पिनाकपाणे पाशुपतास्त्रं पार्थाय दिशसि परमोदार मुनिशिशवे त्वं क्षीराब्धिमेव गौरीमेव च दशकण्ठाय किङ्करोऽस्मि तव शङ्कर नूनं भक्तव शङ्कर पाहि पाहि शिव।